WWE has returned to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia with WWE Crown Jewel. The 10-year contract is still ongoing, which is insane. It feels like WWE's been in and out of Saudi Arabia a long time. It actually does. It's been 6 years now of a 10-year contract, which is set to bring in over $1 billion, which is ridiculous in itself. This felt like one of the older shows for Crown Jewel, you know. It reminded me a lot of the early Crown Jewels, you know, 2019 Super Showdown, stuff like that. Alright, let's not waste time. Let's get into it. Okay, the first match in the show is a 6-man tag team match between the Usos, Roman Reigns, the original Bloodline, and the new Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, and Tama Tonga. This is the first time Roman had been seen with the original Bloodline in a while. It's almost a year and a half since he's been associated with both Jimmy and Jay. They didn't really have a big reunion, more like they had problems with the heels. It's like a Fast and Furious story with Dominic Toretto saying, "Family." That's what happened on SmackDown. Other than that, I like this match compared to the main event from Bad Blood. It was much shorter and more to the point, which is something we don't see often with a Bloodline. There was a botch with the count at one point, which saw Solo Sikoa pin Roman clean in the middle of the ring. They ended up having Solo score the win anyways after 2 Samoan spikes. It wasn't clean though. The story is that Jay saw himself as his own man as opposed to being a part of the Bloodline, but they were back to being a group here. There was some tension between them throughout the match, but it's clear they're gonna develop this story more heading into Survivor Series. They just put it down to them simply. They have too many problems to deal with, and the threat looming that they didn't realize they needed one more man, Sami Zayn. That's the story here. He came out just when it looked like the Bloodline found their man. He accidentally dropped Roman Reigns. I like that. They're gonna have to address some of the previous problems in the story, with Sami being a man who went against the family in the past instead of just having them hug or some nonsense. Plus, there's gonna be a lot of animosity in their next segments, especially with the fact that Jay's a close friend of Sami Zayn, and Roman's gonna call his judgment into question, like, why is this guy associated with us right now? And it's gonna probably lead to them addressing some of the past issues between Jey Uso and Roman Reigns, but who knows. The next match is for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill defending the gold against Piper Niven and Chelsea Green, Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend, and Damage Control, Io Sky and Kairi Sane. This match was very surprising. It's probably the biggest surprise of the show for me because it was all-out stuff here. We don't usually get exciting women's title matches like this on the shows. The women's tag team title matches, I just wanted to mention. I actually don't remember the last time a tag title match this good. Wonderful stuff here. There was some botches, but it was good in spite of it. There was a lot of great high spots involving almost all of the competitors, and I think every one of them did an aerial move here. I did think there was a chance that Bianca and Jade would lose the title, but it wasn't too big of a chance. They retained the titles here, and who knows how things will go for Damage Control. The reason why I mentioned them as opposed to the other teams is that it feels like they're going to go their separate ways probably. There's not much for them to achieve, especially because of the fact that they didn't reclaim the titles here. We'll see, but I like this match. It was solid stuff here, and one of the things I liked about it was how surprisingly good it was. Not because of the potential of the match. It's just like these women tag team matches, they just don't reach their full potential at all. This did. It was good. The next match was between Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed. Bronson's been pushed as the new big guy recently and has come with some success. The feud has intensified upon Rollins' return after he was taken out by Reed. The result wasn't predictable for me. I actually thought Bronson Reed would win it. They had a fast-paced beginning with Rollins bringing the fight and almost paying the price, if not for Reed's inexperience. Reed was too obsessed with going for another tsunami that he forgot that he had Seth Rollins down on the mat for the count. Rollins almost underestimated him throughout the match, and he clearly looked like a man that was overwhelmed with the challenge ahead. But like a true main eventer, he found a way out and scored the win. As I said, I thought it was Reed who'd win it here, but they put on a solid match, something that showed Bronson Reed was a true threat even losing. Rollins had to use the steel steps to hit the stomp, even had to follow with 2 more in the ring. A super stomp at the end to win it. He's gonna get another match against Rollins in the near future. It's probably gonna end in a different way, but I see people be like, Bronson Reed got buried. How the hell did this man get buried when Seth Rollins, a pure main eventer, not some upper mid-carder? This guy's a freaking main eventer. Just think about that for a moment. This guy's a pure main eventer, and he had a big ass challenge ahead of him and barely came out of it winning. He had to hit some unique versions of his own finishers to keep him down for the count. How's that buried? In what world is Bronson Reed buried by losing to Seth Rollins of all people? Just think about that. That does not make sense at all. These guys went out there and had all the time to put on something good. New solid stuff here. Big Bronson Reed's probably going to get more TV time in the near future, especially seeing how this one went. The next match was the Women's Crown Jewel Championship. Liv Morgan, the Women's World Champion, faced Nia Jax, the WWE Women's Champion. I didn't look forward to this at all. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I actually did not care about the fact that Liv Morgan and Nia Jax were facing off. The reasons why is mostly because of, as opposed to the men's Crown Jewel Championship, this is clearly not what WWE could do as one of the biggest women's matches for a title they consider to be like a Super Bowl ring, which is goofy in itself, but that's not the point. It was gonna have some very weird dynamics because both women are faces and would have to play different roles. The match itself wasn't that good, honestly. They needed to make Tiffany Stratton a minor threat to bring something interesting. Other than that, I was just waiting for it to end. We all knew the interference drama would unfold. It was always going to happen, but it wasn't enough to save this one. And for a big match that WWE was hyping, it sure didn't feel like it. Especially with that dirty ending with Liv stealing yet another win. They weren't able to top their previous matches from earlier this year, which, by the way, weren't exactly the most important matches out there. They were just random throwaway matches on Raw. They were better than this, nor was I expecting them to. Again, they kind of handicapped themselves with the dynamics. Heel versus heel, it wasn't going to work, obviously. It's going to be a tough one to pull out. But yeah, I just didn't like this match as much. I thought it was the weakest match on the entire show. The next match was between Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. This feud had been building with Owens thinking everyone around him is in the wrong. He thought that Orton signing with Cody was betrayal when he's the one that wrote the book on betrayal. They had a fight here with the match never starting. A bunch of officials tried to separate them but failed. It was the most intense battle on the entire show, with Owens and Orton attacking the likes of Daivari and Adam Pearce, who took the RKO like his name was Dolph Ziggler. It was a great RKO. Their fight got into the crowd where Owens hit a splash through a table. This sets up a big match in the future for both men. It has to be a big stipulation. It just has to be. We'll see how things go, but I think the championship is in the sights of both men. Kevin Owens deserves it a lot for this heel turn. And again, this doesn't happen often, but I think for his heel turn to be legitimized this time around, he has to win the title. As for Orton, his path is going to take a different direction for certain. I think that feud with Cody is going to be saved for a while. Could be WrestleMania, could be SummerSlam, we'll see. But I'm pretty certain there's going to be very big plans for Randy Orton because at the end of the day, he's one of the cornerstones of WWE. It wouldn't be surprising if he ends up winning yet another title in the next year. The next match was a triple threat match for the United States Championship. LA Knight defends the gold against Carmelo Hayes and Andrade. I just want to say, this was wonderful. Hayes and Andrade garnered a great reputation for their best of 7 series on SmackDown. Both men exhibited some of the best wrestling WWE had seen in the last 2 months and put their names out there. Again, a lot of us know what these men are capable of, especially Andrade, but it's nice seeing it highlighted more often on SmackDown. Here, they took the crowd by storm and put on a show. Even LA Knight was going all out trying to compete with them aerially. This guy was putting in much more work than usual, and he's gotten better in the last few months. You know, like LA Knight's improved a lot, and it's always a good time when he's wrestling for the title. Here, it was a short match, but it made good on the time given and showed that even if you give Hayes and Andrade scraps, they'll be able to pull something out of it. The best part of this match was the ending where LA Knight caught both men with the BFT. That's a proper ending, something that comes from out of nowhere and is innovative. It was wonderful. And these guys are doing flips and whatever, and then he just comes in with a BFT. It was wonderful. He retained the title here, although one of those two is most certainly going to take the title from him in the near future. It's just clear as day. And the main event, Cody Rhodes, the WWE Champion, faced Gunther, the World Heavyweight Champion. This match was overhyped like crazy with the previous promo. What if Bruno faced Nick Bockwinkel? What if Hogan faced Brad? Blah, blah, blah. Oh my god, this is not WrestleMania. It's just like Crown Jewel isn't exactly one of the bigger pay-per-views. They obviously try to hype it up because they're getting paid a lot of money from it. I didn't like that because they were trying to make this Crown Jewel title a big deal when it's just what they call a Super Cup match in soccer. I know it's football, don't comment that please. Basically, a Super Cup game is a tin pot trophy. It doesn't really matter much, but these two are facing off, so it was always going to be big. It's just WWE tried to justify it on the level of some super match that was going to be historic. If it's going to be historic, it's because of the match quality. These two are masters of the ring, so it's never going to be bad. If it did end up disappointing, I was going to blame the promo from before the match. With that said, these two know what they were doing, and it was clearly effortlessly. I'm not going to sound vague like my name's LeBron James, but let me explain. Gunther had a strong strategy on this match based on his previous victories. His victories involved the sleeper hold, a move that took out Damian Priest and Randy Orton. His approach was effective throughout this one, but he wasn't pragmatic. He had a great performance here, but didn't figure that Cody Rhodes would have a trick up his sleeve to counter his tactics. The crowd was really into this one, and why wouldn't they be? These two had the greatest year of anyone in WWE. It's the big time, the main event. Cody was fighting from under with this tough challenge in front of him. Cody's victory came from a slight mistake from Gunther, who was overthinking the sleeper hold, and even though he lost, a man that says he's the representation of class and honor, a quality that's often forgotten and ignored, at least from Gunther's perspective. He doesn't see people respect the squared circle. He made good on his honor and class, and he shook Cody's hand. Respectable moment there. We all know Gunther's a heel, but at the end of the day, he's still a sportsman, which I like to see. You know, it's very different. It gives him some kind of unusual dynamics because every time a heel has to be bad, he has to cheat, he has to do this. Cody is obviously the Crown Jewel champion now. He won the Crown Jewel championship. Good match. Great match. Actually, great match. I do think they could have reached their potential. I think it could have been a little better, but my favorite of the night for certain. I do wish this match happened with a proper build. Something about one of their titles, not the Crown Jewel championship. Alright, that's Crown Jewel 2024. This event wasn't that good. Don't let the review fool you. This event wasn't that good. If you missed it, I'd be like, just watch the main event. Literally. That's all I'd say. Like, the Triple Threat US Championship match follows up, but there's not much to talk about from this one. There is the Sami Zayn moment, of course, but again, not much to talk about here. So yeah. Alright, what you guys think of Crown Jewel? Please comment down below, and that's it for this video. Make sure you hit the spear on the like button and perhaps the crossroads on the subscribe button. Peace. I'm out.